All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, week 4 was quite the interesting week. We had a lot of great primetime matchups, a lot of good games, couple upsets here and there. Again, I do not know how the Titans lost to the Jets. That was an embarrassment. I can't trust Tennessee moving forward, so yeah, that's great. But we had a lot of interesting games and a lot of great matchups. Week 4 was definitely entertaining, and I did well in terms of my record predictions. I went 11-5 in week 4. I feel very proud of that. I've been doing so well predicting these games. Other than week 1, I've done a great job. So through 4 games in the season, my record is a whopping 38-26. I am 12 games above 500, and I'm feeling great. My overall goal is to be at least 500 with my predictions for the whole season, and hopefully we'll get to keep that number. Hopefully we're over 500 because I'm doing great so far. But of course, I've been doing great, and I was high in week 4, so I'm bound to have a drop off and be low in week 5. And I'm gonna be honest, with the games and the matchups we have this week, I would not be surprised if my record is below 500, because a lot of these teams I don't trust, and when it comes to the matchups, it's literally a flip of the coin. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into these matchups, because boy, it's gonna be wild. So we're going to start off with the Thursday Night Football matchup. We've got the Rams taking on the Seahawks in Seattle. This was difficult for me to pick because Seattle's at home, and the Seahawks, they won a nice game last week. But in all honesty, I can't trust the Seahawks right now. I don't really trust them at home. For some reason, the Seahawks have been so inconsistent to the point where we can't gauge what they are. Russell Wilson's been playing great, so I expect him to play great as well. But the team as a whole, something's wrong with the Seahawks. And I just don't trust them at home here in prime time. I believe the Rams are going to get the job done. They're coming off a very brutal loss to a divisional rival in the Arizona Cardinals, and they're looking to bounce back. I like the Rams this season, so I expect them to come in and win this game on the road. I got the Rams winning. Next, we got the Jets and the Falcons. Bruh, the Jets and the Falcons. Who do you go with this week? And the Falcons are at home. The Falcons are choke artists, and the Jets are a bad team. But you know what? The Jets managed to upset the Titans last week, so I'm going to take the Jets. Because at least it looks like they're trying to play well. With the Falcons, I can't trust them. They choke every single week. I'm not trusting the Falcons worth the damn. If they win this game, cool. Congrats to them. But I can't trust the Falcons. I will take the Jets. And I will die on that mountain. If the Falcons blow out the Jets, congrats to them, but I'm not picking the Falcons, even though they're at home. I'll take the Jets. Next, we got the Patriots taking on the Texans. Patriots almost beat the Bucks on Sunday Night Football. So, yeah. Meanwhile, the Texans with Davis Mills got embarrassed by the Bills. I like the Patriots in this one. Even though it is going to be in Houston, I'm going to take the Patriots. I like them in this one. Next, we got the Lions and the Vikings. The Vikings have to continue the roll, man. Last week's game was bad. 7 points against Cleveland. They had ample opportunities to score. They couldn't get it done. Shout out to Cleveland's defense for being stout and holding it up. With your offense playing that bad and Baker not looking good, he had arguably one of the worst performances, if not the worst performance of his career. Yet the defense held still. Held Kirk Cousins the offense to 7 points, and they got the dub. So the Vikings need to bounce back from that. The Lions also, it looks like it's really bad for them. They had a chance to beat the Bears. They didn't play well overall, and they just couldn't get it done. I'm going to take the Vikings again. I think this is a week where they're bouncing back. They could easily have a winning record right now, but they've choked far too many games. You can make an argument. If it wasn't for a fumble, a missed field goal, and a penalty, they'd be 4-0 right now. That's really the case. So I'm going to take the Vikings. Next, we've got the Eagles taking on the Panthers. I'm not even going to flinch with this. I'm taking the Panthers, especially since they acquired a new player with Gilmore. They got Stephon Gilmore. Earlier we heard about it this morning that the Patriots released Stephon Gilmore, and we're like, who's going to get him? Well, they did release him, but the release isn't official until like 4 p.m. And since the Panthers offered a trade, they can retract that release and just instead choose to trade him because it's not made official until 4 p.m. So that's the main reason the Panthers were able to get Gilmore. So good on them for that. So yeah, with acquiring him, whenever he's healthy, he's definitely going to be a benefit to the Panthers. Probably not going to play this week. Obviously, he's dealing with an injury as well. But I like the Panthers in this one. The Eagles, though, they showed a lot of good things against the Chiefs last week. But again, the Chiefs defense is poor, so it's not really a good gauge of what you can do. I mean, the Ravens and the Chargers have clearly exploited the weaknesses of the Chiefs defense, so it's clear as day. But the Eagles, I don't really have a lot of high stakes in them or high hopes for them. Meanwhile, the Panthers, they've looked good so far. Sam Darnold has had a great start to his season, and I see him continuing to do that. So I got the Panthers taking this one. I really like the Panthers right now. Next, we got the Saints taking on Washington. This probably will be my upset of the week. I'm going to take Washington. Though the Saints haven't exactly looked great, I will give you that. Washington is coming off of a win against the Falcons. Of course, that's not the most impressive win because it is the Falcons, but something about Washington, I think they can get this done. If the Giants can beat the Saints, Washington can beat the Saints. And I'm going to hold it to him. I hope this Washington defense can finally show up and make stops, because this defense is not looking like the defense I expected them to be, and I'm hoping they finally step up at some point in the season, and I hope they start off here with the Saints. I'm going to pick them to win this game, and hopefully they do get the job done. So I got Washington. Next, we've got the Titans taking on the Jags. I don't know where to go with this one. The Titans are coming off of an embarrassing loss to the Jets in overtime in a game where they didn't even really play bad. Tannehill threw for nearly 300 yards. Derrick Henry ran for over 150 yards, and they lost. I don't know how that happened. Welcome to the season of 2021. Everything's crazy. Meanwhile, the Jaguars, they had a chance to beat the Bengals. They were up 14 at half. They blew that 14-point lead, but they had a chance to potentially beat Cincinnati. Wasn't able to get it done, but they played well. Trevor Lawrence played really well. That was probably his best game of the season so far. And the Jags look nice. So when I look at this, I don't know who to pick. Plus, this is in Jacksonville. But I feel like with the inconsistencies of the Titans, they'll play bad one week and good the next week. They've already had their bad game against the Jets. Against a divisional rival, I think the Titans show up. So I got to take them in this one. I got the Titans. Next up, we've got the Dolphins and the Bucks. Not wasting any time, I'm taking the Buccaneers. There's no explanation that needs to be said there. I'm taking the Buccaneers. Just talent-wise, they're just better. Taking the Buccaneers. Hey, the Dolphins managed to pull off an upset. I'll like it, but no, it's gonna be the Bucks. I can't pick the Dolphins in this one. Next up, we got the Packers versus the Bengals. This will be a big test for the Bengals. Arguably the biggest test they're gonna have for the first half of their season. You know, they have to play the Ravens at some point, so that's also another test. But this might be a bigger test because Green Bay is a good team. Again, that week 1 situation was just a mess. I guess they weren't ready to play. But since then, Aaron Rodgers has been on a tear. They've been on a tear. They've looked great. They're coming off of beating the Steelers. So I think this is a week where they're just going to take down Cincinnati. I really like the Packers this week. I think Cincy's going to take it to them. They took it to the Vikings, so I think they can take it to the Packers. But I see Aaron Rodgers getting it done. I see the Packers pulling off a W here. Cincinnati is going to come up close. They're going to fight, but I'm going to pick the Packers in this one. Next up, we got the Broncos and the Steelers. This one is tough. I picked the Broncos in this one, and this is very difficult and very iffy. I'll say it right here. The Broncos will win if Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback. If Bridgewater can play, I feel very comfortable picking the Broncos to win this game. But if it's Drew Lock going out there, Drew Lock, man. Drew Lock. If it's him going out there against the Steelers, Pittsburgh might win. I'm not going to lie. Pittsburgh might win. So I'm picking the Broncos knowing full well of the consequences, but I'm hopeful that Bridgewater will play. So I'm picking the Broncos specifically because I believe Bridgewater will play. And if he doesn't, well, that's an L I can just add to my list. Unless Drew Lock just goes off on the Steelers. And in that case, Pittsburgh Steelers, their season might be actually over at this point. If Drew Lock goes against the Steelers defense and he just explodes, it might be over for Pittsburgh this season. Because I don't see how you lose to Drew Lock and then come back from that. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Drew Lock is going to dominate and it'll be crazy, but who knows. But yeah, I'm taking the Broncos. Next, we've got the Bears and the Raiders. Raiders are coming off of a very tough loss against the Chargers on Monday Night Football. Meanwhile, the Bears, they took down the Lions. It was the first win of Justin Fields' career, at least as a starter, for the most part. So he's flying high, and it looks like he's going to be the starter moving forward because they named him the starter, earlier today. So we'll see how that goes. Justin Fields being the starter. Hopefully Matt Nagy does not control the play calling there. But I'm going to take the Raiders in this one, man. Losing a game like that to the Chargers, they got to bounce back, man. They did not play well in the first half. The Raiders at some point have got to stop playing as poorly as the way they're playing right now, because they've been playing poorly in the first half of pretty much all their games this season, and then in the second half they're turning it up. You cannot start the game being down by your opponent and then turn it up and expect to be able to win every single week. At some point that's going to catch up to you, and that clearly happened on Monday Night Football against the Chargers. So at some point, Raiders got to get it done. They got to start off fast. They got to be able to score in the first quarter and have a lead and just be able to perform better overall in the first half. And I think they're going to do it here against the Bears, so I'm going to take the Raiders in this one. Next up, we got the Browns and the Chargers. Ooh, if we didn't have Sunday Night Football, this would be my game of the week. The Browns are coming off of one of their worst offensive performances and one of their best defensive performances. Crazy. The Browns did not look good at all offensively, but their defense was ferocious and they won the game. Do not expect Baker Mayfield to have another bad game. That was probably one of his worst, if not the worst game of his career. I don't see him repeating that this week against the Chargers. I expect him to bounce back and have a really good game. I expect Herbert to also have a really great game. He's flying high. The man has beaten Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, and then he's just beaten Derek Carr and the Raiders. The man is flying high. The team is flying high. The Chargers look legit. I'm not going to say they're legit yet, but they look like it. These next two games are going to test it. If they beat Cleveland and Baltimore, we got to look at them and say the Chargers are Super Bowl contenders. But we're not going to say that just yet. We're just going to wait on that. But yeah, I think they can beat the Browns this week. I'm going to take the Chargers. The Chargers are flying high. Bro, you do not beat Kansas City and then the undefeated Raiders and then just lose like this. Cleveland's a great team. They're also 3-1. Both these teams are great. It's going to be an exciting game. It's going to come down to the wire. But with the way Justin Fields has been playing, he's he's thrown himself into the MVP conversation. And when you got somebody playing at an MVP level, you got to give it to him. So I'm going to give it to him. He's going to have the test of his season against this Browns defense. But I think he's ready for that test. And I think the Chargers are ready for that test. So I'm going to take them. They're at home here. And I'm going to give them the dub against the Browns. But it'll be a close game. And Cleveland's not going to... They're going to fight. Cleveland's going to fight. They're going to fight. It will not be easy. Next up, we've got the Giants and the Cowboys. Not wasting time with this. I'm picking the Cowboys. I think the Giants are definitely going to make this an interesting game. But the Cowboys... they've been rolling right now, man. They are starting to look like a legit Super Bowl contending team. Will I call them that after 4 games? No. But they're playing well. They're flying high. They beat the undefeated Panthers, and they're looking good, man. Dak is playing he's playing as great as he's ever played, man. 4 touchdown passes last week. He was absolutely balling. Zeke has been unleashed. He had an amazing game against the Panthers last week. I don't see that slowing down against the Giants defense, so I got the Cowboys taking this one. Though I think Daniel Jones, coming off of a 400-yard performance against the Saints, he's going to have something to say about that. So it should be an interesting matchup. NFC East game here, it's going to be crazy, but I'm going to pick the Cowboys to get this one done. Next up, we've got the Niners and the Cardinals. Another NFC West matchup here. Another game that could be worthy of being called Game of the Week. Same with the Seahawks and the Rams. Now, with the Niners and the Cardinals, I'm taking the Cardinals, man. Cardinals are the only team that's left undefeated. They've been flying high. Kyler Murray's in the MVP conversation, and his team, specifically his defense, has been playing very well. They have started off this season the right way. So I love what I'm seeing from the Cardinals right now. The Niners, they got to figure out their quarterback situation. Are you going Trey Lance or are you going Garoppolo? I know Garoppolo's dealing with an injury, so Trey Lance might actually get the start this week. I have no idea how that's going to go, but I just like the Cardinals in this one, especially because they're at home. Yeah, I just like the Cardinals. Everything screams Cardinals win this for me. So I'm just going to pick the Cardinals. I like them. They're flying high, and I think they're going to stay undefeated for another week. Now, I'm going to skip this other game and I'm going to talk about it last. And instead, I'm going to go to the second last game here, which will be the final game of Week 5. Monday Night Football, we got the Colts heading to M&T Bank Stadium to take on the Ravens. No question, I got the Ravens winning this game. The Ravens are flying high as well. They've won 3 straight games. After losing in overtime on Monday Night Football to the Raiders, they beat the Chiefs, which was the biggest win in quite a long time for the Ravens. Then they managed to squeak by the Detroit Lions, and then they go up against the Broncos team with a great defense, though there were injuries. We're not going to deny that. And they managed to get the job done through the air with Lamar's arm. So the Ravens are flying high. Not to mention they're getting some players back. Miles Boykin and Rashad Bateman could potentially play on Monday Night Football, so you definitely want to look out for that. And if they get those weapons back, look out. Because the way this passing game's going, and with the way Lamar's airing it out so far this season, they could come out here and they could just explode. If everything starts to work and these guys are catching the football, my God, the points they can put up is crazy. Just to think about it, with the amount of drops the Ravens have had, if those drops were catches, man, we would be blowing teams out. It's crazy. But, we'll see what happens here. The Ravens right now, they're flying high. Defense is looking nice. They're putting pressure on quarterbacks. They're forcing turnovers. They're making stops. And the offense, they're airing it out, and they're still running the football. We'll see who the 3 backs are for the Ravens, but I just like the Ravens. This screams Ravens W here. They're at home for another primetime game here. Colts, again, they've been inconsistent. They got their first win of the season last week against the Dolphins, so that was good for them. But I think they're going to take another L here on the road against Baltimore. So I got the Ravens. And to end it off with the game of the week, we've got the Buffalo Bills heading to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. A rematch of the AFC Championship game from last year. I talked about this in my stream on Monday night. I felt the Bills would be able to get this done. I was just screaming, Bills. My mind was telling me, Bills. I've slept on it for a couple days, and after thinking about it, I'm going to stick with that pick. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to go into Arrowhead and take down the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense has been atrocious to start off this season. They've given up 30 points in nearly every single matchup, and they're averaging over 30 points a game given up by their opponents. The only thing that's keeping them, afloat is Mahomes and the high-end talent they have on the offense. At some point, you cannot continue to play backyard football the way they're doing and assume you're going to get back to a Super Bowl doing that. The defense at some point has to step up. It can't always just be, we're just going to score this many points. Offense. At some point, you're going to get games where the offense is not there, and you need the defense to make stops. The Chiefs cannot stop the run. They can't stop the pass. That's a problem. They're giving up points at a high rate. Meanwhile, you got a Buffalo Bills team that is scoring points like candy. What they did to Washington, and then what they did again last week to the Texans, my God, they are destroying teams right now. I am fearful of the Buffalo Bills. Yes, you can look at it. The Texans aren't a good team, so they're expected to blow them out. Washington wouldn't be considered a great team, so them whooping on them, okay, it's fine. But this is Kansas City. It's a different thing. And that's where it's been tough for me, because it's in Kansas City, man. It's in Kansas City. I don't like to bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs when they're at home, but everything is telling me in my mind, it's screaming that the Bills offense is going to abuse the Chiefs defense. And I don't know if Mahomes will be able to make enough plays against the Bills defense that has fixed up their front seven. Their pass rush has improved, and they're forcing turnovers at an alarming rate. Meanwhile, Mahomes has been turning the ball over consistently in game after game. I think he's turned the ball over, in his last 3 games? A turnover in the last 3 games. That's not good. A pick against Baltimore, 2 interceptions against the Chargers, and then an interception last week against the Eagles. He's turning the ball over. So I'm just looking at this and I'm just thinking, man, with everything that the Bills have to offer and everything the Chiefs have to offer, the weakness of the Chiefs defense, the way the Bills offense has been scoring, how strong the Bills defense is, and the Chiefs offense still rolling, but at sometimes they're turning the ball over. Everything's screaming to me that the Chiefs are not going to be able to hold up against the Bills, and the Bills are going to be able to pull off the upset and get the job done. If Baltimore and the Chargers can beat the Chiefs, the Bills should be able to win this game. So I'm going to take Buffalo to get the win on the road in Kansas City. Josh Allen will join Lamar Jackson as another AFC and Justin Herbert as another AFC quarterback that will get a W against Mahomes this season. Jackson finally got his first win against Mahomes. Herbert got his first win. Josh Allen will do the same on Sunday night. And with that being said, that is all of my Week 5 picks. We will see how it holds up, man. We'll see how it holds up, but this week seems like it's going to be pretty crazy. I don't know how it's going to go down. Hopefully we can get the W here in terms of my record being over 500. Let it be 11-5 again. That'd be cool. Matter of fact, let's get it to 12-4. Let's get it to 12-4 this week. Let's be on fire with these picks. We'll see what happens. It all starts with Thursday night. If the Seahawks win, that's already a bad omen for me. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, that's all I got for this Week 5 preview. We'll see what happened with the games. And that's all I got for you guys. I'm out of here, man. Peace.